it wasn't like I was top of my class. I just didn't give up. And I think that, in some way that's like an immigrant story, right? Like you just kept at it. I think when you're an outsider, you see different things. I mean, I remember when I was at Univision, I was at a luncheon for one of our anchors who had written a book that, one of the big imprints had published in Spanish. And I remember saying to Judith, who was the editor, what made you see this opportunity with the Hispanic market when it's so obvious and yet so many people don't? And she said, it's because I'm Australian. And I remember having that thought about like how when you come from the outside, the things that people take for granted or the patterns that are expected just add up differently for you. So I do think that made a difference, right? Because I saw things that people took for granted or didn't see because I was sort of a fresh set of eyes. I always cared about the collective, right? I think I found Jim Collins's work good to great when I was at Univision. I really believed in that. I used to say I wanted to be on the bus. People would be like, why don't you want to be CEO? It's not that I didn't want to be CEO. I think it goes back to my childhood, which is like, in Iran, we all had big families. My happiest memories was when the house was full, right? Like lots of food, lots of friends and family. And then you were sort of plucked out where we lived in a suburb, which was a well-to-do suburb, which basically meant people lived separate lives right behind bushes. And so it was much more isolating. How much is enough? Like, what is enough? How many rungs do you need? How much money do you need? And at what point do you really think about making a difference, right? And so, sometimes people call me about a job and they say like, you can make a lot of money. Well, money was never the thing that drove me. I mean, I definitely had financial insecurity and I wanted to pay my bills, but that's not what motivates me. So for me, it's always about like, can I have an impact and do I believe and can I make a difference, right?